Good evening once again. It's the second time of asking for the Exceed Racing drivers, and this time they have a whole new challenge awaiting for them in the Austrian hills. Good evening, everybody. My name is Ike Sky. I have Edin alongside me, as I have gotten far too used to having his support and voice alongside me. Tonight we come from the Red Bull Ring, and my goodness, what a race we're going to have tonight. The practice times were off the charts. Edin, how are we going to look for the competition tonight?
Hi Ike, always a pleasure to commentate us alongside you, and since we started doing this, I always look forward to Sundays and this small community that we have. For the race tonight, it's gonna be super duper exciting, especially because Red Bull Ring, as I mentioned to you before the race, only has, as you know, 10 turns, so the field is really bunched up. Not that big of a gap between drivers, so it's going to be very, very interesting. I hope there's going to be a lot of surprises tonight.
Certainly, not least of which, all of these cars having the equal performance is going to be very much he who can get the best traction on this aging physics system that is going to get the best lap times, really, isn't it? It's nothing about braking, it's nothing about apex speeds, really. It's all about that exit off of the corners, with perhaps the one exception being Bosch Curve at the end of the top straight at the top of the hill. Just about everything else, you have to rethink how you take on this track, don't you?
Yep, exactly. I know I said it's a short track, but it's a very demanding and a very difficult track, to be honest with you. Like you really have to be careful, especially turn 3. You can lose the car very, very easily there, and you can let yourself be distracted, especially on this track with these drivers.
No, absolutely. Yannick Wertz comes out of that turn 3 right-hander, where the angles that are going on rival that of the corkscrew over in America. If you're going up it in reverse, it's the same sort of my words aren't working tonight. It's the same sort of track change as far as the undulation is concerned. Sat on the side of a hill. Actually had a really interesting comment made the other day. As the Aston goes into the pits. Had a really interesting comment the other day saying how I know way too much about cars. And that was that's why I was commentating. Like, huh?
Was it said to you during the stream, or
yeah, it was
what
said,
context?
It was said during during an Asseto Corsa streams, an ACC stream. So it was it was all the GT3 cars, which I've been watching GT3 for years. Oh, Vitaric has been kicked from the race.
He has some difficulties loading up the game, but I'm sort of confused. Would they like a commentator not to know what he's talking about? That's such a strange comment to make, isn't it?
I think it was a backhanded compliment in a way.
I see.
Yeah. Because I was going into the intricacies of the layouts of the cars. These Formula 1 cars, unfortunately, aren't anywhere near as interesting as far as the diversity is concerned as GT3 is, because obviously GT3 is a balance of performance formula.
Right.
Whereas this is he who makes the fastest car gets to go fastest. These 1.6 turbo hybrid engines in reality are fascinating engines. The more you look into them, the more you have to unscrew how physics works and then resettle it back in. I think it's been for the last at least 20 years or so. On an internal combustion engine, you have O-rings, right? And their job is to interface between the piston and the piston wall so that you don't scratch the piston wall with the piston, and so that none of the combustion gets into the oil and none of the oil gets into the combustion. Fairly simple, logical, but for the past 20 years, Formula 1 cars have not had O-rings on their pistons.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
They are built to such tight tolerances. The reason why you have to preheat them, because obviously there's all that joke about. We've all seen them on their umbilical cords, their life supports. They run in 90-degree water through it to warm the engine up. The reason why they have to warm it up like that is that if they don't, the tolerances between the pistons and the piston walls will be too high, and fuel will get into the oil, and oil obviously will get into the combustion chamber.
I honestly didn't know that. You learn something new every day, huh?
I've done it again. Back to the action on track.
Yeah.
Zen Messenich leads the way with 104.328. Bear in mind, these are the opening gambits. These times will get faster. The drivers will be running as... It will take time for them to get their eyes in. It will take time for them to get their tyres into temperature, as well as their bodies as well. Because everyone knows you can't just jump into sim racing and be fastest, and you definitely can't jump into sim racing and not feel very, very unfit come the end of a race. Who is on laps that we could enjoy? Mohammed is just going to the pits.
I must give compliments to Joe Singers. He's in Alpine currently at P4. He's a reserve driver, and as you can see, he's doing wonders. For his first race with us. He's at P4 currently. Let's see if he can maybe challenge for pole.
Fantastic showing from Singers so far. Yes, a second off the pace, but the usual suspects are up there right at the very top. Oh, big slide, big four-wheel slide for Singers there. Just pushing a little bit too hard, but yeah, absolutely correct. One to watch during the race. He just needs to keep the car underneath him, I would suggest. Is he going to suffer some flat spots from that? Or do you think he's going to be able to take that for another circuit?
I think he might need to go to pits, to be fair with you.
Decides not to.
Interesting.
So he's going to try and get the best out of this Alpine, even in its relatively hobbled state. I dare say that's not the best idea, because they do have unlimited tyres, but man, you can't blame a man for trying. And the other thing as well is that he's probably thinking he wants to get another couple of laps in. He might not have had as much practice as he wanted. That was a lot of oversteer on the exit. Let's jump on board with the with Singers here. See how he's...
Maybe we can try... He's using all of the track. He's trying to maximize all that is given to him. But let's see how he finishes up the lap.
Return of the camera in camera. We hold with bated breath. Unfortunately, we don't have the timing screens. 105.136 was his previous time. He comes up to us. That was his outlap? That was weird. Oh no, he did go faster with the 105.1. Still a second off the pace, but my goodness, he is near as anything. Kisa Soze disconnects from the server now. Technical issues abundant in this second round of the championship.
Zen Metanik 8/10 up on Igor Radovanovic. Do you think anyone will be able to challenge him this race or this season even?
We have seen some chinks in Metanic's armour from round one and from the test races. We have seen that he does have certain weak spots. We don't know if that's going to come out tonight, but all's fair for this race. I think he's going to be going into the pits yet. Singers will be going into the pits. Husanovic in the McLaren, still circulating, coming up towards turn 3, so either has lost it, got it very wrong. That may be an outlap. I love your overlay. I absolutely love that overlay.
Do you have any predictions? Let's try to make some predictions for top 4, Ike.
Predictions for top 4. I feel as though... See, this is the thing, Red Bull Ring is a fairly... When you look at it on a map, it's not all that interesting. It's just like a big boot shape. Reminds me of Deep Forest from Gran Turismo. I do think that if Mohammedi can hold it together. He seems to be the king of consistency. He has spent a lot. He did spend a lot of time out in the desert last round, making places by sheer consistency. Who else is out on track? Mario Zaja in third at the moment is going to come up to the start-finish line to start a new lap. The AlphaTauri trying to hunt down that elusive pole position. We know how quick Zaja can be. Now, Zaja, Radovanovic, and Mesic. Radovanovic isn't actually a person that I would have put on the podium at this particular race, and as Jose returns to us, thank goodness. But Antic too could have a very good chance of upsetting the cars ahead if he can keep the car on the track. I think that's going to be the biggest challenge of all for all of these drivers tonight. But
what do you think regarding qualifying?
Qualifying, I think, is a fairly done deal at this point. Singers and Zaja might swap places. Zaja might pull out a bit more time. I feel as though the drivers... Let's see what Zaja comes up to the line and gives us a slower time by 9/10. That's what I was thinking. But by the attitude of the cars, that's what I was just looking at. By the attitude of the cars, they aren't looking quite as stable as they were at the start of the session. It looks as though, if there's such a thing, there's too much rubber down on the track. Either that, or they've been setting up on green tracks.
There definitely is track evolution.
Yeah, see, as I say, I dare say it might be personal best by Joe Singers to second on the timing
That's a
screens.
surprise.
That's a brilliant time for the Alpine driver. Joe Singers putting his best foot forward in this qualifying session, very much making an argument for why he should be promoted from reserve driver in this one qualifying session. See what he can do during the race, but it would be fantastic to see him take it to Metternich. 5/10 over the course of a lap. That's a lot of time to be losing, but it's not impossible that he might have better race pace than Metternich. In fact, Metternich, we have seen quite a few drops in the course of a race. Is that dropping into the pits again? It's dropping into the pits again.
Yeah, he just finished his
yeah.
hot lap. Let's see. Igor Radovanovic is in a hot lap.
He is, and he's doing pretty well as well. Coming in down into the second to last corner. Track limits on this track, Edin. Are they going to be concerned?
Yeah. He should have aborted that lap because there was a bit of drama from last race round because people were complaining that Zen Metternich was kind of abusing track limits.
Oh, really?
So we created a new rule, just like the FIA did this year around. White lines are going to determine the track limits.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go over the curb and the curb is outside the white lines, then you should abort your lap. And yeah, it doesn't seem like the drivers are really following that rule, I must say. But obviously some post-race penalties are going to be applied for sure.
Absolutely. All the more reason to stick around. So is that on... I take it that's on entrance as well. Because Mario Zaja there was absolutely pushing the limits of what could be considered having a tyre on the inside of the white line. Like a professional. Not in the, I'm not saying this is a bad thing or to grass him up. Like, it was on the line.
But that's also... But I think that was outlap as well, so that's also up for discussion. Can you go... Are you allowed to abuse track limits on your outlap, or is that...
Yeah, absolutely, because that's the other side of the coin, isn't it? Especially here, if you run wide on the last corner, or if you go wide in the corner between the second to last in the final corner, which actually is called Rint Curve, for what it's worth. It is treated as one corner. There we go. So that's Zaja going way out wide. He's off.
I think he's going to abort this lap.
Well,
I think
he's off the pace.
He made a couple of mistakes.
Yeah, he's off the pace
exactly.
anyway. This will be probably more of a... Yeah, he's going to be dropping into the pits, I would suggest. Really good discipline from the drivers so far to keep it on the white lines when they're going into the pits there. Oh, it's going to be fascinating to have a look through post-race penalties then.
Exactly.
If that's the case. If you aren't already, get into the Discord, which should be linked below, actually. Give me half a second and I'll check. I would hope that it would be linked below. Yes, it is linked below. As is the link to apply for this season. You will be in as a reserve driver, but you only, as Singers is proving at the moment, you only need one opportunity to show your worth. Ferrari
I don't think he's going to be a reserve driver for much longer.
I don't think he is. If you want to watch the cream rising to the top, my goodness. Do I have track limits from Underrated Sim Racer in chat? Who is Underrated Sim Racer?
I think that might be Zen Metternich, actually.
Metternich, I think we didn't watch your 104.11 lap. As far as I know, it was okay.
Let me ask you this, Ike.
Yes.
Imagine you're on the grid, it's lap 1. Would you prefer to be on P2 on the inside line or P3 if you had to choose between those two?
Now, I've had a theory for a long time that it's much better to be on the inside because all of the crashes happen on the outside. But there's a very interesting... I can't see if Hasanovic is going into... It looks like he's on an outlap, if I'm guessing.
Mario Jaya is on a hot lap, so let's see what he can do.
So, Jaya's on a hot lap. Oh, here we go. Are you on board with him? He is on board with him. Let's make for the best camera shot that I have made in my entire commentating career. Outside-inside shots with the telemetry underneath. Watch as Zaja gets it on the brakes for the second to last corner. Massive kick of oversteer. There we go. Oof, and that's going to be a massive into the tyres as well.
He really went for it and it didn't stick. Didn't work out for him this time around.
And you can see how late he was braking into that second to last corner. I dare say that may be a retirement from the session. For Zaja there. Jaya?
Mario Jaya.
Jaya, okay. I will get that.
Let's see if...
It was Quetz.
Yes,
see,
Quetz, let's...
Back to your question, as you were asking. I feel as though being on the outside at this track alone, we could well be in a position where you might be better off to be on the outside. Because if there is an accident on the inside and you have your awareness about you, then it's... You've got so much escape road, and this is the problem with the FIA sanctioned tracks at the moment, is you can go so wide that you end up taking more speed out of the corner than anyone...
You can use that as an excuse, right?
Well, it's...
You say, oh, they pushed me off, I had to go outside the track, and gain a massive advantage.
Absolutely, it's lap 1, turn 1. I was just, oh, this is super close for Quertz. He is pushing the limits. I think...
Track limits for sure, but let's see if he improves.
He does. He does. It's a 104.971 for the Aston Martin driver.
Now let me open my notepad real quick.
And that is the end of the session, I would suggest everybody has dropped into the pits and will take no further part. So, the starting grid for round 2 of the Exceed Racing Formula 1 Championship, Zen Mesenic will lead them away for the second time. Joe Singers will start from second position. Kesa Soze will start from third. Igor Radovanovic will start from fourth position. Yannick Wirtz will start from fifth, with Mario Jaya in sixth. Amir Mohammadi will start from seventh position, with Gaspar Medved, I pronounced that wrong, in eighth position. Edis Husanovic will start from ninth, with Vedran Antic in 10th. Ioan Birch. He said last
Jan
week.
Birch. Yep,
Yes,
Jan Birch.
Jan Birch will start from 10th position as it all cycles through. I've lost my timing screens for a second there, I think. They've all lined up on the grid, haven't they?
Yeah, so Jan Birch P11, Vex Vedrikus P12, Albir Ahmed P13, Gerald Burian P14, Justin Scheffer P15, and Goran Radošević P16, and Mick Slamer P17.
So
that's our grid for tonight. 17
cars on the grid. I was told that you can press WAS and D on any of the cameras, and and you can move the cameras around, so we can get a lovely look at these RSS Formula 1 cars. But it looks as though I can't do that.
I think we need to focus at the Joe Singer for the race start. I think he can.
If he can drop the clutch and get a decent launch, because Mesenic did drop back, if I remember correctly, from Bahrain. He did drop back slightly under the initial launch. If that Alpine can get the Red Bull car, even if it's alongside, like a quarter overlap, then we're going to be in for either an enormous crash, or we're going to be in for a fantastic fight in this opening lap of round 2.
Absolutely.
Final thoughts before we get going?
Nope. Just very, very excited to see what's gonna happen. Just make sure to focus on them. I think you're on P14 currently.
Yeah. So the revs rise, the lights go out, and we are away for round 2. The Alpine got a little bit of wheel spin. The Red Bull's going to look to the outside. Not the Red Bull that he wanted, but we are through turn 1. We are not through turn 1 at all. Everyone's got in together. There's an AlphaTauri getting together with an Alfa Romeo. Everyone has scattered to try and avoid, but that is all she wrote, and the Alpine couldn't get the traction off of turn 3. Radovanovic is in second, defending his teammate Zen Mesenic down into turn... Do we call that turn 4? The one across the top?
Turn 4.
Lovely.
Turn 5, I think.
Yeah,
it's one of those.
This is the reason why I don't know what to call them. The Red Bulls lead the way. I'm almost disheartened saying that. But the two Red Bulls lead the head of the field. Alpine, Aston Martin, Alfa Romeo, not AlphaTauri, are the first 5 in close proximity. Behind them, Medved, in the second of the Alpines, has a little bit of a gap already, but I think he was the first of the drivers very much intertwined in that turn 1 incident. Unfortunately, we can't get that incident back on the tapes, but it'd be great if we could. McLaren looking, hunting of Husanovic. He can smell the blood in the water for that Alpine.
Also, Joe Singer keeps dropping down the scoreboard because I don't think he practiced enough his race pace, so he spins around. Yeah, I think he put too much time practicing his qualifying lap and didn't practice with a full tank.
All of that praise that we heaped on him in the qualifying session coming back to bite him for sure. Curse of the commentator works wherever you are on the grid. I think, yeah, that Alpine looks as though it is not happy under full fuel. What that does mean, however, which is going to be quite interesting, is how fast is that Alpine going to be in the closing stages of the race, and more importantly, is that going to change Singer's strategy? Could he pit later to make the most of some soft tyres or some softer tyres come the end of the race? All questions that need to be unravelled in the course of this 36-lap race.
It doesn't look particularly good for him right now, I must say, Ike. He's really struggling with those tires, and with all of that weight in the car, the fuel. Maybe Susanovic is closing up to Medved. Maybe he'll catch up to him in this main straight.
Ooh, he went out wide though, so
Gaining
lots of speed, but it's going to be the McLaren of Burian that takes the position instead. Good to see the Mercedes in the top 10. Hopefully he can keep it there for Burian. McLaren's trying to come back up towards turn 3, but it's a fairly safe brake and throttle away for the Mercedes, and gets the DRS wing wide open once again. So the 3-car battle over 5th position. The head of the field has fallen apart ever so slightly. However, Birch and Antich in 10th and 11th, chasing down Schaefer.
I wonder if Antich was involved in Turn 1 accident again. It seems like he's a magnet for those kind of accidents.
There was definitely an AlphaTauri involved. And
that was Mario Zaya. Unfortunately, he retired, as I can see.
That's a shame. Yeah, I see him. So I dare say that Zaya might be that Antich may be carrying damage. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case, but tucked up behind these 2 cars in front, he is getting a double drag up towards the back and just ahead. Birch looks to the inside, and it is an easy DRS pass for the Haas on the Aston Martin. Parks it at the apex. And now the double dose where the detection is on the straight gets the Haas ahead by a reasonable margin. Where else? There's the McLaren off. Is that Soze? No. Where's the other McLaren?
I
see McLaren.
that might be Abir Ahmed. I think
it
he's
is
returned to the track.
Yep, 16th position and +1 lap. So had to come out on cold tyres and seems to be struggling with the McLaren. Not the first person to struggle with the handling of McLaren this year.
Oh,
so
that's bad. In the fields.
Hey now, this is true, isn't it? Ooh, this is Vedran Antic.
I think Singer went to the pits, if I'm not mistaken. And he came out of in front of Vedran Antic.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought there was a car in there that didn't belong. Soze has just taken Medved? Oh wow, Medved has caught up to Soze. So now the fight that was over 5th becomes the fight over 3rd. Soze gets it very wrong. Medved and Husanovic into the side. And another big incident. Medved has recovered fairly well from that, but still lost a couple of places. Really unfortunate.
Burian at P4, like who'd have expected that?
Yeah, the Mercedes, they're so slow, aren't they? someone's definitely been putting some work in and understanding the work that needs to be done to get these cars to behave. Meanwhile, Medved and Mohammadi both getting a very squirrely rear end on the exit of turn 1, which is not normally where you get the high traction issues. Locking up for Mohammadi as well. So lots of bits of tyre smoke coming off of these tyres in these early stages. These drivers would be wanting to avoid that ideally. Hasanovic as
Oh no,
disconnected. I don't know. He was parked by the wall, but I don't want to say that it was a rage quit or anything like that. It looked as though he was parked at a weird angle. So there's every possibility that there may be controller or some kind of connectivity issues plaguing the McLaren driver. Slammer falls behind Schaefer at the back of this 14-car field now. Already lost 3 cars. Meanwhile, the Mercedes is about to get attacked by an Alfa Romeo, around the outside. Wasn't confident with the overlap, but without that DRS, there's absolutely nothing that the Mercedes can do. Now over the top of the hill, the Alpine has the overspeed, and that is very much all she wrote. The Mercedes can try and get a cutback. Without the DRS enabled, the Alpine is going to struggle a bit more in a straight line. Oh, Burian gets it wrong. A quick spin, only one of the wheels in the gravel gets the throttle down, and that is back down to 9th. Really unfortunate there for Burian. Meanwhile, the fight over 4th. Last.
Ooh, Medved gets a better exit.
Oh wow, it's very, very good. I didn't even get to switch to the second camera's perspective. Oh, and Mohammadi's going to get it wrong as well.
Snap of understeer there.
Yeah.
Oversteer, my apologies.
Yeah, the thing is that might be that it was understeer that led to oversteer though, so you're not wrong. So many times that we've had, especially in the early stages, yeah, there's a lot of brake locking going on for Mohammadi there. Just off the front tyres, that normally means that he's feeling like he's got instability under braking, and so needs to use that extra front. All right. Using that extra front bias to rebalance the car. But obviously, if you're not careful, you can lock the tyres up, and the more you move that brake bias forward, the more you're going to have issues. A third of the way through the race already then, and the 2 Alfa Romeo cars are together. Hopefully, Mohammadi and Soze will be communicating between themselves, understanding what each other's situation is. We might see a very easy pass made here for Soze. Yep.
I think he let him through, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not surprised at all. And they've done that in possibly the best place they possibly could. Soze had the DRS off of Mohammadi from the start-finish straight, and now he's going to be able to walk away across these 2 straights, but potentially he's going to be able to drag Mohammadi with him, especially if he locks his brakes up like that coming down into Bosch. If he does that on a more regular basis. It is both the Alfa Romeos that are locking up the front. So have you been seeing that issue across the rest of the cars as well?
I must be honest. I must be honest with you. I haven't really noticed many people locking up. It seems like maybe they're sharing the same setup and they're having the same difficulties, 2 of them.
Well,
but
that was what I was going to say. Is maybe the Alfa Romeo drivers have shared their setup and are working together on it. But the side effect of whatever that setup is that they have to have their brake bias further forwards, and they're just more prone to locking up.
Okay. And I think they're working together right now. Soze is pulling Mohammedi with him because they keep towing each other in the area zones.
I'd love to see it. Absolutely love to see it. Let's have a look over the rear wing. This is the view back from Keita Soze. Back at his teammate Amir Mohammedi. Looking to take the fight to the top 4. Soze's just keeping within the window where that flap on the rear wing of the Mohammedi car can open and drag himself back up to his teammate. If this is legitimate teamwork, this is excellent teamwork right here. I think it's fair to say that Soze is the more number 1 driver of the two. And that is why is the spoiler up on the Alfa? The Alfa Romeos have caught up to Medved. I think Medved's has an issue off camera.
Oh, could be. Maybe he's just struggling with tires.
It's possible. It's possible. It looks as though they're on the same tyres, according to all the information we have. But obviously, we can't say whether that is accurate or not. The other thing to consider is possibly that the way these two, and that's a Hassoff. I think that's a lap down now. No, it's... Oh, Radovanovic is in the pits. First of the Red Bulls, or the second of the Red Bulls, the first to pit. Maybe...
But he's gonna come out in traffic, so I don't know how good this call was, pitting early.
Yeah, maybe this was a canary in the coal mine situation for Radovanovic to see where Zen is going to come out a couple of seconds time when he does make his pit stop. The Red Bull is right up underneath the AlphaTauri. Gets it all very wrong and takes out the AlphaTauri in the process.
No.
What was that? Radovanovic out on the curbs on the inside? Did I see that correctly?
I'm so confused by what... Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Confusion is the only word that I can think of. Radovanovic had it done and I think bottomed out over the curbs, coming down in towards Bosch Curve, and is now going to have to pit again.
Do you think because of the breaking the actual curb is what threw him off?
I think that's what it was, yeah. Either he's ground out the bottom of the car, because I swear I saw a puff of grass beforehand, so he would have... So what would have done? He would have had the unsettling effect of going from the grass onto the curb and then braking. It's all a little bit too much to be coincidental otherwise. But a heartbreaking pit stop and a difficult climb back up the grid now for Radovanovic, if he can at all. Meanwhile, the Aston Martin of Schaefer and Vedrikus in the Ferrari. Aston Martin getting it wrong in 8th position up into turn 3, but the Ferrari has got nothing on the Aston Martin in a straight line. Obviously DRS well and truly in effect there.
Corsa and Mohammedi haven't pitted yet and are still towing each other at P2 and P3, so I really wonder, is pitting early the solution here or staying longer? So, by staying longer, I wonder if they're gonna
look who's behind. Look who's behind the Alfa Romeo pair as Vedrikus goes into the pits. In 4th position, Joe Singers, who had so many issues in the early part of the race, Now that fuel has started to burn off, he's starting to understand that Alpine a little better. Okay, he's 10 seconds off, but 4th position at the moment.
And I also think because Medved pitted early, he's gonna have traffic.
Yeah.
Regarding Burian and Sinner, so he's gonna lose time here. And when Mohammedi and Coeres decide to pit, everyone else is gonna pit at the same time as well. So
yeah,
I think they're gonna have free air in front of them.
So this is Medved comes through, and is going to be untroubled.
Never mind.
By any cars as he comes down the start-finish straight. So Singers and Burian dropping. Yep, Medved to 4th. Querts. Yeah, where's the other Alfa Romeo gone? Soze 5th. Soze's down to 5th. Is that enough?
Oh, he went to the pits?
I don't remember seeing it, but I'm happy to believe that he did. Querts hasn't.
So
picked. I think
that's what they're doing. They're having different strategies. Soze and Mohammedi.
So they've split the strategy. Let's see if the 2 Alfa Romeos come back together after this pit window. He's not coming in yet. He is now. Yep, there we go. That was touch and go as to whether he was over that commit line. So Querts in the Aston Martin runs 2nd. Metanich, who has been thoroughly untroubled by the cars behind, circulates in isolation if for some lap down cars. Aston Martin, Alpine and Mercedes behind. Who is that we're looking at? There we go. So it's Burian. So, oh my goodness. All the way down, all the way up to 6th position, already lapped. Ooh, this could be an opportunity for the Mercedes. If Burian could just get the traction down. He has the DRS open, but now so does the Alpine. But the Alpine just got a lot of apex speed compared to the Aston Martin, and they all 3 come together very much so at turn 3. Weirdly, not the point of not the point of action tonight. This Bosch curve, this turn 4, 5, whichever one it is, has been a lot more active as the Alpine takes the Aston Martin. So that is Singers up ahead of Schaefer. And walking away as well. I wasn't expecting. Is that going to be the Red Bull coming in? Red Bull pits from the lead. The time behind is 30 seconds. I dare say that he's going to be fairly untroubled for this, even from Querts, let alone the rest of the field. Querts, meanwhile, also hasn't pitted. That car.
Funny message from veteran Antic. He said, "Iggy split me in half." Yes. Regarding that incident between him and Igor Radovanovic. Yeah,
that was really unfortunate. That was super unfortunate for veteran. I feel so bad for him, man, because that was none of his fault. He did everything absolutely perfectly there. And just got nailed to the wall. literally nailed to the wall by Radovanovic, who is still running, but down in 9th for the Red Bull driver. Meanwhile, Mohammedi does his fastest lap of the race. Where is he now? He's 6 seconds off his teammate. So the running over in this initial phase doesn't look as though it has benefited Amir Mohammedi in terms to his teammates, but the DRS trains that they were forming prior to the pit stop phase may well have changed the complexion of this race.
But also, we must remember there's 16 more laps
Oh,
for
absolutely.
this race. So maybe because he stayed longer, he's gonna have that extra pace by the end of the race. So let's see. Do you reckon Souza will be able to catch Medved for the remaining of the race?
I think Soze has the pace. I think it's a case of how much is he willing to push for that podium. Mohammedy's now on the same pace as well. 108.3s for all three as they came across the line. Singer's behind is a second faster in this phase of the race. Once again, gotta say it, Singer's a reserve driver in this championship. Impressed in qualifying, let himself down in the early part of the race, but is absolutely coming good for that Alpine team. Sen Metanich goes fastest with a 106.863. He was saying something in the pre-race period about having a lot more competition in this race. I don't know if he's going to be watching this back, but I feel duped by you, sir.
He just has to be stopped at lap 1. If you don't overtake him at lap 1, he's just gonna be a Lewis Hamilton. He's just gonna drive in the.
He leads well from the front. We haven't been able to see whether he can lead from the back as well. I would love to see if he gets to the point where he has the Drivers' Championship sewn up or anything like that. Start from the back of the grid and run your way through. Like, see if you can do last to first.
Right.
Because the thing is, it's a very difficult situation. 106.8. He goes even faster. Metanich really in the groove now, and I think he might have some clear air to work with as well. I think it's a really difficult thing because, unlike most last to first challenges, DRS plays a massive role. And where you choose to do that kind of challenge really does the difficulty changes depending on where you are and how effective that DRS is.
Casey Souza had a snap of oversteer, goes off the track and comes back in. Just shows how hard he's pushing to catch up to Medved. I mean,
busy cooking his tyres now. That's the other question. How hard do you push? And how much do you overheat those tyres and those brakes and all the things holding you to the ground? Schaefer is in the pits. Whoa, Schaefer's in the pits and gets it very wrong. I would be very surprised if he doesn't get some kind of penalty for that, because there wasn't a chance that he was under the speed limit. A good lap by Schaefer. Ruined ever so slightly on the exit or entry into the pits. Would we see if there was a penalty? It's a new question. Yeah, for pit lane speed limit.
I think in the data it shows, but I'm not sure if it shows on our screen. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure as it does. Which is a shame. It'd be really handy if it did.
Unfortunately for oh, my apologies.
No, you're fine. Go on.
Unfortunately for tonight's race, we couldn't have our safety car driver. He had some other obligations. Huge hello to him. He's probably gonna watch the race as well. But as we were informing our drivers that we won't have him tonight, Iggy was kind of happy that we didn't have him. He was like, he was saying that it's better for him when there's no safety car on the track. But
really?
I bet he wishes he had one right now.
Yes, with the gap that he's got at the moment. Oh, he's up behind his teammate. Oh, more games potentially being played then for the teammates. which honestly I'm fine with. All of this inter-team play and the DRS trains, I love it. This is to me, this is what Formula One should be about. It's two drivers first, the rest of the world.
So you reckon he's just gonna tow him?
I don't know.
The top 5, hopefully.
I don't know. It would make a lot of sense to do so, and he is currently within a second. We know Radovanovic can just about keep up with his teammate if he's not pushing. Here's the question then. No, hang on. Is this going to work? No, Burian is just exiting turn 3 now. I genuinely think that this is being... Yeah, so Goran Radosevich will be taken by the first of the Red Bulls, and then is going to have to get out of the way for the second of the Red Bulls as well. This could be the thing that drives them apart. This is where we'll find out for sure whether they are working together or not, because if we see the leader basically slow up to let his teammate catch up, they're working together. Which again, there are no rules against that, are there?
Let me just talk to Goran real quick. Oh, never mind. I'll let him through. I think drivers need to be quicker when it comes to blue flags and getting out of the way. Yeah. What was your question, Ike?
Is there anything against teammates working together like that?
Absolutely not. This is
okay. That's fine.
Teams are all about.
Yeah, no. That's the entire point of having a team. Meanwhile, two teams fighting against each other. Mohammadi has lost out to Medved. It looks like Singers has passed also.
Wait, did Medved go to the pits? Kind of confused here because he was in front of Souza last time we checked.
Medved did go to the pits for a second time, yeah, but now he's probably got soft tyres on.
Ooh.
So
that brings another question, doesn't it? Will he catch up to Souza this time around?
Here's the other question. No, I've got another question for you coming down towards the closing stage of the race. We have 10 laps remaining. It is about 30 seconds to get in and out of the pits. Or no, it's not even that. I think it's something like 25, 26 seconds to get in and out of the pits. There's a very short pit lane here at Red Bull Ring. So, do you see the pace that Medved has in that Alpine? Singers is out of it. He can't do anything about that. Could Souza do something about that in third position? We know, and now Querts, of course. Querts absolutely could pit and get out in front of Singers and Medved. So does Souza... bear in mind, Souza is the sister Alfa Romeo. So Mohammadi is watching the Alpine disappear up the road and is telling Kaiser Souza, look...
Yeah, I think he's going to the pits.
Yes, he does. The die has been rolled for both Singers and Souza.
I think that was a mistake, to be honest with you, Ike. Do you know why? I think he should have, because it's 9 laps left. I mean, I'm not sure in what conditions his tires were, but I think you just stay out and try to defend that P3. I don't see him catching up in 8 laps or so.
It is easier to lead from the front than it is to chase from behind. However, the tyres have a massive impact. Oh, as the Mercedes of Burian gets it wrong, is going to lose out both places to the Alfa Romeo and the Red Bull. And Singers looks as though he's got it wrong as well. He's going to lose out to Radovanovic.
Querts goes into the pits as well.
Who? Oh, Querts into the pits. Yes,
Querts.
But I don't think Querts has pitted yet. I'm pretty sure Querts hasn't pitted yet. Is that Burian? Burian's got it wrong. Burian's got it wrong at the first of the Texaco corners. And he's going to lose out 8th position in the end. Meanwhile, Singers gets back the position on Radovanovic. But now the DRS is wide open for Igor. And all the way up the next 2 straights as well. It's going to be wide open, massive straight line speed boost. Let's enjoy the chase of an Alpine.
Acer Soze catching up to Zan Metanik. I wonder if Metanik is going to let him unlock himself.
Metanik. Who's catching where? Sorry?
Casey Soze, he's catching up to Zan Metanik, but he's lap down. I wonder if Zan is just gonna slow him down, if he won't let him, unlock himself.
It doesn't make sense to fight that. I can't believe Quertz is running in second. That's been a master stroke. It really has.
Radovanovic isn't that far away from Soze. That's why I think Zan Metanik might help, hold up.
Well, he's helping the Alfa Romeo at the moment by giving him DRS. So regardless of what's going on, I feel as though it would be unwise of Metanik to defend. Mind you, one more lap. What's one more lap? It's a 5-second gap between Soze and Mohammadi. How much faster is Soze at this point in time? Let's get round to the start-finish straight and see.
Almost loses the rear end.
1 minute 11 for Mohammadi, and Soze is going to come across the line behind the leader, 107.3. It's not the fastest, but Singers is going faster behind as well. We did point to that Alpine as being quick in the closing stages. It looks as though Singers is putting a bit of flair on the final few laps of this race for him. Can the Alfa Romeo get up to the Red Bull? In the straights, he's so close.
I think Metanik is doing him big disservice right now. Look how much he's slowing him into the corners. I don't think he's gaining that much time into the DRS zones, to be honest with you.
No.
I think the dirty air, and especially the way the Zan Metanik is braking, I think Soze is losing lots of time.
Oh, absolutely.
Right,
I totally agree.
And also, Kaiser Soze, I think it's P2 at the Drivers' Championship, so Zan Metanik definitely benefits by keeping Kaiser Soze at P5. Let me just double check on that. Yeah, Kaiser Soze is P2, the Drivers' Championship. So Metanik definitely wants him to be as slow as position as possibly can.
Having another look. He's as close as he's ever been, and Metanik doesn't get the drive that he wanted. The DRS is going to be open. He might not have a choice in the matter by the time they get down to Bosch. This is where it's all happened tonight.
But the issue is, if Metanik has a better pace, Soze just gets blue flags. So Soze will have to let him go. You know what I mean?
I think he's going to have DRS off of Mohammadi.
Is that
I really do.
Oh yeah.
So Mohammadi is going to be giving DRS to Soze, and suddenly it's going to become a very different fight. DRS on DRS. Mohammadi is going to stay on the racing line, and the Alfa Romeo gets right. He pulls behind again.
I told you.
It's a shame. That's such a shame. And now the Red Bull's going to have DRS as well, so that fight is all well and done again. Do you think that was an intervention by race control, telling Soze, look, you can't do that?
That's all on him. I would say that's just... Yeah, this is...
He's going for it again.
This is so dirty by Zan Metanik.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, it was so close then. So close. Singers is in this fight as well now. 3 laps remaining. We need another, like, 3 laps. Can we, like, just... Someone needs to, like, go admin and just put another 3 laps on this race.
I think
so.
I think I'm gonna give black and white flag for Zen Metaning for dangerous driving. I'm just going to... No, I'm actually serious. We're doing race control. Just give me a second.
That's fine. Meanwhile, most interestingly, the Alfa Romeo is not going to get DRS this time round. Singers in the Alpine is going to be getting it for all 3 straights this time. The wing opens up. The Alfa Romeo can defend. Ooh, the wing's opened up on the Alfa as well. That's interesting. But on the brakes into turn 3, nothing that Soze can do. Tries to close down the Alpine, successfully does so as well. Really good driving from both of these super quick Formula 1 drivers, and I think that was a courtesy pass for Soze. Perhaps didn't quite know that the Alpine was that close. As they come now through Texaco. Out towards the end of the lap, Singers is not pulling away by a massive amount. It looks as though Medved might just about be able to hold off and survive until the end, as long as nothing goes very wrong for them in the rest of the race. Same for Quertz. Quertz has absolutely pulled a blinder on the strategy tonight. Yannick Quertz in the Aston Martin.
Yeah, so we gave Zen black and white flag. So I think that's why he pitted, just to get out of that fight, because that was, I think, too dangerous for my liking, I would say.
That's absolutely fair.
And also, Souza's race, I think it was completely ruined by... I mean, the tactic that Zen was doing was absolutely... I think he was in the right to do that tactic, but just the way he was driving, maybe too close to Souza, it just made it way too dangerous.
Who was that ass that just disappeared off into the... Do you see that? It wasn't a slammer.
It's either Slammer or
Who's the other house?
Birch. Jan Birch.
Yeah, Birch. Ewan Birch. Oh, and another spin in turn 3. He's cooked his tyres and just spun it round. He's going to be right on the racing line. Oh, man.
I think the only fight we can really pay attention to these last 2 laps is going to be Sinner and Souza.
Yeah. Yeah, just keeping an eye on... Well... Yeah. It's about as close as it's going to get. The warning comes up. The leader is on the final lap.
I'll have my camera on Metanik so we can follow him and we can do...
we may as well. Do you know what?
So
It's the only time that we really paid any attention to him all evening. He has led from the front, so let's get him twice.
Yeah, I think you should focus on the fight, and I can do Zen, so we can do both at the same time.
That is a fair point. But I think you're absolutely spot on. The fight that was in Kaiser Soze has been well and truly snuffed out by the defensive driving of Metanic. Metanic will serve a penalty. It doesn't matter. He will come across the line and take a second victory in the Exceed Racing Formula 1 Championship. That Red Bull looking absolutely spotless after 37 laps of this Red Bull ring. Excellent to see that victory come through. Quertz, meanwhile, pulling a blinder of a strategy to bring the Aston Martin home in second position, and celebrates as he should with some donuts with his teammate. Absolutely fantastic So Schaefer and Kurtz both scoring points tonight. Then third across the line will be the Alpine of Medved. Joe Singers will come across the line in fourth position, so massive point score for Alpine in
Great recovery as well.
round 2. Say again, sorry?
Great recovery as well.
What a recovery from Singers.
Yeah.
Really has bathed himself in a golden glow for a stand-in driver. Kaiser Soze will have to live with 5th position in the end. Amir Mohammadi, it's very much, once you take out the top 2, it's very much the story of the manufacturers here. And that's a shame.
Yeah.
I will learn to take a snapshot of the finishing order before it ends.
Alright, give me a second, Ike, and then we can do the post-race interviews real quick. Let's just do podiums this time around.
Yep, that's absolutely fine. We have Bessie in.
Okay, never mind. I guess we're gonna do everyone. No, let's do podiums and then we'll discuss the race. Let's go with.
Yes,
go ahead.
Zen first.
Yeah, let's go with Zen.
First into the combox then for an interview, Zen Metanich. I will say it right one day. Congratulations! It's the second win on the trot. You were talking about how there was going to be more competition, but in the end, it never really materialized, did it?
Whew, nice. Just what a race, man. Happy actually, very happy, more than the last one, because I had a lot of seconds behind me. So I pressed the DRS in my final lap. Stupid. But I got the first lap in the end, and then just very good race. Yeah, it was unfortunately for Iggy, but I mean, what can I say? Just happy.
And so you should be. And yeah, it was an unfortunate. Did he talk to you about the incident at all, or you had yet to watch that?
No, we had the talk mid race all the time, so he explained a little bit. I don't know exactly what happened, but I think it was with Antich, and then they crashed on something while he was on new tires. Yeah, I don't know.
I need to have a look back at it. The way that it looked from our perspective is that he went a little bit too wide and tried to brake either on the curb or on the grass. Just the car speared sideways across the front of Vedran.
Okay.
And I mean, in his defense, Iggy was a passenger as soon as he pressed the brake pedal.
Ah, okay.
So it's just one of those things. Like he'd put himself in a high pressure situation. He was trying to make the most of what he had, and it just didn't come round to him.
Okay. Yeah.
Let me ask you this, Zan. By the end of the race, were you trying to slow down Kaiser Soze? What was really happening? And we know he's your championship rival. So what was really happening there?
It was kind of messy with the pit stops and back markers. Some back markers weren't even going out of the way. Like the McLaren, I think I touched my front wing. I was braking, and then he braked also again, while he should have already let me pass. So that was, it was a bit, I don't know. And then with Kaiser, I was just we were on the same pace, so it was like, some mistakes, and he got past, and then, just a little bit back and forth. So it was, I didn't really know what to do. Like, give him the position. Well, it was not for position, but let him through or just stay in front. I was not. I was pushing, so I was not slowing him down at all. I was doing like low 7, so there was quite a good pace still. So
I think he might have a different opinion on that situation. We're gonna hear from him soon.
Yeah, but I was also thinking, like, can you let me pass? Or it was just really weird situation because we were actually on the same pace, and what to do then? But no, I was not trying to force anything. I was just more like, go out of the way. But that's my point of view.
Right.
Absolutely.
Any other questions, like?
No,
Yeah,
no, it's very
Aiden, you
much.
came into my chat. What did you say there?
Black and white flag.
Black and white for what?
Dangerous driving.
Dangerous driving, really?
Yeah, there was. I think I can vouch for that flag. There was a couple of very
Don't involve
close.
me in this.
Yeah, during I think it was turn 4. It was really dangerous. It was so close. You and Souza were so close to crashing. I just had to do it. Yeah, when
Yeah,
you see the replay, you'll see what I was
It was
yeah.
referring to.
For me, he shouldn't fight me, but that's just because he's a lap down.
Yeah,
So
but he has a complete right to unlap himself.
true, and he did, and then he wasn't faster, so he let me through again. So yeah, that's
Yeah, that's exactly what we're talking about
yeah.
on the
All
stream
right.
as well. Right, congrats, Zen,
Yeah,
on the
thanks.
another victory.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's hear from Kasper Medved.
All right, thank you guys.
cheers.
Thank
Catch you in a bit.
Yes, yes.
Mr. Medved,
Yes.
it was a very difficult evening for yourself, but not a bad one.
No.
How was the race from your perspective?
Car was very, I don't know. It's so unstable always. It's like my front wing was broken, but it was almost better to drive when it was broken than fixed.
Sounds like you had too much downforce.
But I tried 1,000 different settings, but it couldn't work. Suspension or something, dampers, I don't know.
That's a shame. That's a shame.
Did you
Maybe too.
did you expect to finish at the podium? Because qualifying didn't look as promising, I must say. Was it P7, P8 that you started?
P8. No. If Joe didn't spin the other Alpine, he would have been on the podium, not me.
Yeah, Joe was absolutely incredible pace-wise in qualifying, but I think he just didn't put enough practice time into race stint. So I think the car weight really surprised him at the beginning of the race.
Maybe, I don't know. I didn't put that much either. Maybe 1 hour max. But more than him, maybe.
So very much luck on your side, making your evening a little bit better. Right place, right time, or you think that you're starting to get a handle on just where the car's going to be trying to bite you?
I'm so used to this RSS car with the extended physics that driving without them is so weird, and I always drive the non-S car, the one that purposes with the extended physics, and that's so different with this.
I see. That explains a lot. So, is that an easier drive, or is it just that you're more used to it?
I like it more. I don't know. Maybe it's more stable at the rear.
Okay.
I think.
Interesting. That's really interesting.
Very. Yeah.
That's fair enough. Well, maybe we should
Alright.
have a conversation about that.
Yeah.
Go on, Eden.
Right, congratulations on the podium, Medved. Really, really nice race from you. I think very consistent from the beginning. I would say I didn't see anything particularly bad the way you were driving. I didn't see any. I think. Did you spin any times? I didn't see you losing rear wings at
No.
all.
I just an Alpha spun on on himself by himself. I was slowing down, and then a Mercedes, I think, rear-ended me.
All right. So once again, congrats on the podium. We're gonna hear from someone else. Thank you, Method.
Yeah, thanks.
Who should we speak to next? We need to speak to...
I think Soze because
Yeah, for sure. Kaiser, we need to speak to you for sure.
right.
So, next into the combox, Kaiser Soze. A very difficult fight up and down the field for yourself tonight. How was it driving with your Alfa Romeo teammate for a large percentage of it?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you good.
Yes.
Yeah, all right. Well, it was a very difficult race for me. Zatya made a mistake in the first corner at the start, and after that I had damage and I didn't feel the car anymore. I spun a couple of times. I think Ed was behind me, and his race was also ruined by that, I guess. I don't know, but very very bad start. Very, I think people need to be more careful in first corner again. And
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, well, I'm disappointed, really. I fought back, and yeah, definitely my teammate. We discussed a little bit during the race, and well, he's a great teammate. It's a pity he had a little bit of lag actually today, but well, we made the best out of it. Yeah, as we could actually.
What are your thoughts about Zen's shenanigans by the end of the race? It looked from the commentary box like he was trying to hold you up because you were championship
Yeah,
rivals. Well, what are your thoughts? That was kind of weird from
um,
my point of view.
I just pitted, so I think my tires were better at that moment, and of course I had DRS. I think it was fair what happened there, because yeah, well, actually I thought it was Iggy, and there was something wrong with leaderboard, but then I knew it was Sam. But he overtook me, and then I was faster, so I think I unlapped myself. But then I wasn't faster anymore, so I let him go. I think no problems there. Just I was faster with DRS, but not without.
But it compromised your race as well, didn't it? Also, you lost the position to Joe Singers, and you maybe could have cashed Medved if there wasn't Zen in front of you. Would that be a correct assessment?
I didn't like he was in front of me because then he was holding me. That's true, but well, actually, my race was ruined in the first corner actually. So I'm kind of happy. I still have fifth place. I 2 times pushed the DRS button in the wrong time, so I had 6 seconds. I actually there was one moment. Joe kissed my ass a little bit. Can I say it like that?
Yep.
Here. So I don't know. Maybe I didn't leave him too much room, and then I decided to let him pass. So that was, I think, solved at that moment in time, because I knew I had 6 seconds. So didn't want him, didn't want to, yeah, crash into him anymore or whatever. I thought it was fair to let him pass.
Yeah, and let me ask you this: there was a one point in the race where you and Mohammedi were towing each other. Was that deliberate? Were you trying to catch up to the rest of the pack, or was your pace just similar at that stage of the race?
I didn't catch the question really.
Were you guys towing each other? Were you helping each other with DRS? You and
Oh
Mohammedi,
yeah,
your team?
yeah, as much as possible. I think I was faster in pace, so I came back at him. Then I had tow, and then he was behind me. And I think I don't use ERS so much, so he can have my tow. But yeah, well, then I can't hold that too long because I need to go forward also. So it was a couple of laps helping each other, and then it was done. But in the end, he helped me again because I had the six seconds. I think he was deliberately moving a little bit back because one time he actually made me spin.
Oh, that's a
So
shame.
very great teammate, and yeah, well, congratulations to Zen, of course, and yeah, I'm just a little bit disappointed. That's all.
Do you think you and Mohammedi have what it takes to win constructors championship, if not the drivers one?
No, I have to be fair. I think Zen is too fast for me. I think we can fight for second place in the constructors.
It looks as though you are going to be fighting for
Of course, yeah, of course.
second though. The Aston Martin of Yannick Wertz they're 3 points behind you after these 2 rounds. But for sure, you're winning that fight for the time being.
I will always fight really, but this time I was practicing so hard and so long, and I couldn't get the tires right, and the car feel totally different in the race when I look at it in the practice sessions. But maybe it was because of the damage. I don't know. But all that time practicing felt really for nothing now at this moment. But I never give up. I fight for the next race, and I hope to can deliver a good fight to Zen and Iggy, of course, and also Medved, I think, and Koorts, all very fast guys, and don't forget Joe, really fast guy. So I don't consider myself as the fastest guy after Zen, but I will give them a fight, really. Yeah.
Fantastic to hear, Kaiser. You have a lovely evening. And enjoy,
Thank you very
enjoy,
much.
enjoy the F1, and we'll catch
Oh
you.
yeah.
We'll catch you
Thank you.
next week.
Same to you. All
Oh,
right.
cheers.
Well, have a good one.
Cheers.
Right, Joe Singers.
I would love to speak to Joe Singers.
Right.
Yes, for
Go
sure.
ahead.
The man who bathed himself in glory in the qualifying session very much shone a dim light on himself during the opening stanzas of the race, but really brought it all back to be an absolute glowing example of a driver. Joe Singers, welcome to the Combox. How was your
Thank you.
race?
It really didn't start in the best way. My tires were quite cold for the first couple of laps, and I spun twice. Yeah, then I gradually started picking up again. I had problems 3 times with Amir in front of me because he was lagging a lot. First 2 times I spun just to try to avoid him because he was like teleporting from one side of the other to the truck. Third time I even crashed into him on the straight because he teleported again.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, apart from that, last part of the race was definitely better. It didn't start well. It ended okay. Could have been better, but for the first one, I'm not going to complain too much.
No, 100%. Are you hoping that this has put forward your CV in a way so that you can start to do this on a regular basis, or are you just happy to have been part of the grid and been able to have a go at this?
No, sure. It would be great to take part to more races.
Well, there you go. That's all of the all that you could possibly
Thanks
want.
for having me today.
No,
First.
Joe, it's been wonderful to watch you learn on the job, essentially, with these RSS hybrids, and hopefully we'll see you back to take the challenge to some more tracks and to more of the drivers.
Yeah, I hope so too.
You have a lovely evening, my friend.
Thanks, you too. Bye.
Cheers.
Alright, do you want to have a couple more people in, or what are your thoughts?
I feel as though they are the outstanding ones. The only other one that might be worth speaking to is Iggy.
Alright, let's get it again.
But after that, the rest of the I think we kind of need to get this wrapped up, don't we? Mr. Radbury, that was a very difficult evening, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, this was disaster.
It's not the biggest disaster, to be fair. You still scored points.
Yeah, but I had some other plans. Unfortunately, I don't know. Some guys are fighting some other fights, and I don't know. It's my fault. After the pits, I didn't want to lose any time. I wanted to undercut Aston Martin, and I was pushing. I prepared to overtake one Alpha Tauri. I think it was Vedran, and then he moved on the right side to defend the inside line, and I had to overtake him outside, and I just touched the grass and I spun, and I killed him also with me. But no need to fight in that situation. I mean, I would overtake him 2 corners later, but my fault. But I don't know what to say. Nothing good for both of us
No.
from that fight.
No, absolutely. But I think that it was from where we were watching, it looked like a genuine mistake. It looked like you'd put yourself in a high pressure situation. You were trying to maximize what you had, as you said, and it just that one. You were less than half a car too far to the left, as far as we could see. That's all it was. It was the tiniest of miscalculations. So if nothing else, like, take from it that the mistake absolutely did not beget the amount of damage that it caused. You were very, very unlucky to have had that accident at that point in the track and taken someone else out with you.
Yeah, I'm very sorry about Vedran, because honestly he was not fault at all, but still think I mean, I don't know. If I was in his situation, I would just let someone go without so much fight. I mean, now of course he can fight. That's his right, of course. But we are driving two different races, and completely, how to say it. I mean, my fault for sure, but we could avoid this situation. That's my thought.
Yeah, you're not issuing responsibility, but he was fighting for position where it was an inevitable
Yeah.
outcome.
Yeah, but still, guy behind must overtake in safe manner, which I tried to do that, but unfortunately the problem was actually with the radar. As soon as he moved a little bit left, the radar showed me that he is coming to me, and I moved on the left, but he wasn't. I watched replay later after the race, so he was not so close, but I thought he is more close than he was actually, and I went on the grass, and you know what happened from that moment.
Absolutely. An unfortunate,
Anyway,
evening, but a really good recovery back to 5th position. Have you been working with Zen on setups and the like? Are you?
Not so much. This time I made my own setup. I had some more time to practice, and also I practiced a little bit more for race. And I think this would be easily 1-2 for us. But unfortunately, it happened what happened. But this is a racing, Without this situation, it would be bored, and it was real fun for me to recover from the big incident. Actually, I lost like a minute maybe, and because I pitted, then I had to pit again. But my car was so crashed that I stayed in pits like 30 seconds maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, but anyway, it was a good race from my perspective. Interesting, more to say interesting race, not a good race, interesting race.
Yeah, for sure. And the thing is, as well, is that there's always next week.
Yeah, there's always next week, and I'll try to prepare better for next race, which is I think Imola, or not, I'm not sure.
Australia.
Australia, okay, Australia, Melbourne Park. And we'll see. At least I have the fastest lap of this race. That's only good thing from this race. One more point.
It's sympathy that will get you somewhere at least.
Yeah.
Iggy, it's been great to have you. You were somewhat the life and soul of the party tonight.
Thank you. And one more time, I want to say public apology to Vedran, because actually he was not fault for the incident, but I think with more clever thinking we would avoid it.
It's always ifs and buts, isn't it? It's always what could have been.
Yeah, it is what it is.
But it is what it is, absolutely.
Yeah.
Iggy, you have a lovely rest of your evening. Hope you enjoy watching the F1
Thank you,
back.
Ike. Thank you, Ike. You too. I will enjoy the great stream. And see you next week.
Yeah, see you in Australia.
See you in Australia. Thank you, Ike. Thank you, Edin. See you.
See
Yeah,
ya.
thank you again.
Bye.
And lastly, we have been requested to have a chat with ZX.
Right, I mean, we can quick fire all of these. But
We could quick fire
just
them.
let's just keep it short.
So, ZX into
Hello.
the chat. Difficult evening for yourself. A difficult race, to be fair, for what the track is. It's been a very
Yeah,
interesting
yeah,
race.
it was interesting. I was in the podium places, and actually, for 2-3 laps, I didn't notice my left front tire was gone. I had a puncture. I was like driving, it felt okay, but then I see sparks, from the front wheel, and was like, oh, I need to pit. And it happened again in the last stint, like the 2 last laps. And
Oh man.
I tried with one stop, and like 4 laps too much. Unfortunately, otherwise the pace was there, but small mistakes made it difficult. But I went from P7 to P6, which is pretty good. Happy with that.
And talk me through the work you were doing with your teammate. That was a fascinating. It was a fascinating phase of the race.
Yeah, we were kind of on the same level, and we helped each other throughout the race. But unfortunately, I tried to back off a little and brake a bit later, but he braked a bit earlier. I didn't really notice that, and I hit him, but it was, okay. No harm to the race time, and we changed places twice because once I was fast in the first stint when he had problems with the tires, and in the other stint when Zen left me and him, we switched place again, so he was in front.
Yeah, absolutely. So, positives from this evening. The pace is there, as you said. Just a little bit of work needed doing. What would have been causing those front left punctures then? I know that this track is very, very hard on them, but
I think the curbs, to be honest. I had a bit of a problem to get the car to turn in a bit, and sometimes it got understeer, or it either got way too oversteer, and then when you correct the slide, you go over the white line. So I think I cut the white line a few times. It was a bit difficult, but I think we need to work on just the driving and hopefully a bit more on the strategy, to be honest. So we get the tires right, we get the tire strategy, the tire wear in the correct place. But like I said, the pace is there, but we need a bit of teamwork to catch up to the podium places.
yeah, of course, absolutely. And that pace will come. That pace will absolutely come. It's just a case of when it comes, wait for it to come. Amir, it's been wonderful to have you. We need to get you going, because obviously the real life F1 is on as well, and everyone's wanting to watch that. Cheers for dropping in and saying hi to us.
Thank you.
Better luck next time. Hope to see more teamwork from you from both the Alfa Romeos as well.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Have a good evening, man.
Goodbye.
Alright, I'm gonna move both of those guys, and then we're gonna go one by one.
Cool. So first,
like 5 kilometers.
Sorry. Welcome to the Combox. Would you like to carry on that conversation?
Oh my I would rather not. It was private.
We were driving. We were speaking about work, so I don't.
Right. That's fine. Okay.
Yeah.
So, give me just a second, because I'm trying to do a nice thing. So, Gerald Bullion. Bullion. Sorry.
Yeah.
First time I've seen your name here, unless I'm very mistaken.
Well, I mean, you saw it like the second time, but the first time here on Discord, I think.
Yes. No, that's very fair. That's very fair. Welcome to the Combox. We've had Eowyn before, but that's another story. We'll focus on you for a moment. How was that race for yourself?
Well, who wants to begin? Ion or Big Boy?
No, we'll start with you. We'll start with you.
Okay. Man, for me, it was real blast. I mean, the T1 accident that happened there was like beneficial for me, because like I was gaining like 4 to 5 positions, and I was starting at P14. Then was instantly like, I think P8 or something like that. And yeah, it was for me like a great start, and also the flow of the track was really nice. I was like really in the flow of the circuit the whole time, had really good pace. But at some point I spun out or even crashed inside of the pit, in the pit exit. That was like a little bit bad for me because I was at the time, I think, P6. And because of the red front wing, I was like, now I need to repair it or else I will lose so much time. And then I was like at the end P10. But I could have been like P7, P6. It would have been nice.
Yes.
I mean, would have been a great improvement from my P12 in the last race.
Yeah, it seems like the first part of the race you were always there at the. You were very consistent at the beginning, and you were always there at the right time, at the right place. You took some very, I would say,
good
very
opportunities.
easy very easy overtakes. I would say you were very. It was, I think, at the right place, at the right time, very easy to overtake. People kept crashing in front of you for whatever reason, and then you managed to overtake.
I was patiently this race. I wasn't like, of course I was pushing, but not entirely. I was like, yeah, let it go cool. Maybe the guys will make some mistakes, and then you can take their positions and like that. And even if I was like defending at some point, I was like, I don't want to be too hard and like crash into him or something like that. So I was really like not so hard in this race.
But a hard fought race, and this time with a point.
Yeah. Also,
it's
but sadly my teammate couldn't race because he got kicked out like entire time in the server. I think because of the penalty system he got kicked out, but I don't know.
Next race in Australia. Any thoughts regarding that?
Australia is not one of my favorite tracks, to be honest. I mean, I do like kind of the track, but it's difficult to get in the flow of the circuit for me, especially in these cars, because I don't get my English today. I'm not so used with these cars on this track. I'm more like the 2004 F1 cars. I'm used to that track, but not with the like 2022 cars.
That's a good. That's nothing to be ashamed of whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, I will see how it play out.
Yeah. Well, the only difference really is that you have to take less speed into the apexes.
Yeah.
That's just about it. They still stop and start just as quick as the old cars. It's just you can't quite take as much speed through the corner. Gerald, did I get that right? Gerald Brunian?
Yeah.
Lovely.
You get it right.
It's been wonderful to have you in. It's been great to see you running around in the Mercedes. And my goodness, if your current trajectory is right, by the end of the season, we'll see you on the podium.
I mean, I hope so, and I hope that they will get one day a podium or even a championship. It would be cool.
It would be very
like
cool.
To be a world champion, this would be actually nice. It's also one of my goals, but if I say Metternich with its 105s and 104, I'm like, holy shit, dude. I mean, I did best with my 106.65 in the practice and was like, oh man, that was fast. And then I was seeing Metternich with its 105 and I was like, how the hell am I supposed to do that?
Yeah. It's yeah. You sound like me. You had a really good pace today. The car looked great for a lot of the race. A couple of mistakes made, but that's stuff that can be ironed out. The actual pace is there, which is great. Gerald, we'll let you go. We'll have a chat to Birch now, and yeah, we'll see you in Australia.
Yeah, glad to be there then.
Catch you in a bit. Iwan, a very different story for yourself.
Definitely.
Talk us through your race.
I had not a really good start. I had a decent start of the line, and I was in a good trajectory for the T1, but I got tagged. I had to go off track. Lost a few positions. I was still going strong until actually I recovered a lot of positions. I was like P7, P8, P9. I don't know. I don't really know. But a few guys went off the track in front of me. I was catching up. They just went on track. Was turn 5 or 6. And then I had a moment of doubt and I just brake. I didn't want to overtake on the inside and just take my time and overtake them when I knew it was safe. But then I got crashed on by behind. I don't know, it was an Alpine. I don't remember his name.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I had like severe damage on my rear and front wing, and I couldn't do anything. I had to pit early for the mediums. Actually for the hards, because I started on the mediums, and it just went downhill from that. But I think I finished P9, so that's okay.
Yes, there's 2 points. 2 points more than you had before.
Yeah.
No, that's absolutely understandable. But as you said, a challenging race for yourself. But I suppose same question goes to you. How does Australia treat you? Is that something you're looking forward to?
Yes, I'm looking forward to actually
Finally.
every race except Nürburgring. That's just tough. That is just so tough.
But that's the reason why we like it.
Yes. We like
So-
it, but it's like I just purchased a direct drive wheel, so this is like my first season with the DD.
Mhm.
And Nürburgring on ACF1 was horrible, like
It's vicious.
bumps everywhere.
Yes.
Like my wrists were aching after the race. So
Yes.
it is challenging, but it's lovely.
And now you're going to be aching in high definition.
Oh yeah, I've been aching this race as well, but it was a fun race, except for little incidents that they're gonna be looked into.
Of course.
But it was a fun race. Unlucky, but I had I can say I had a pretty okay pace, above decent.
Yeah, that's good. And again, 9th position. It's points, and points make prizes. And as we're
That was my sorry for interrupting. That was my goal last race. I said I want to score points.
Yep.
I did.
And so you did.
So everything's fine. Yeah.
Absolutely. Perfect. Well, we'll let you get back and get back to watching the real life F1 that's over by now, I think. Just means you get to watch it back in its entirety.
That's perfect.
So I'll let you go. I can't drag you out of here because I don't have permissions. So
yeah, it's fine.
We'll catch you in a bit. You have a lovely time. It was lovely to speak to you. And hopefully we'll see you next time in Australia.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Thanks for having me.
No
Have
worries.
a good one.
Have a lovely evening. Before we close out the evening then, I was a little bit quiet then because I was working out everything on how to do this. So, as the track comes to quiet, Zen Mesnic would win overall, with Yannick Kwerts in second. Gasper Medved would come home and complete the podium. Joe Singers would come home fourth, just missing out, but backing up that Alpine in third position with some fantastic points. Then the two Alfa Romeos of Kaiser Soze and Amir Mohammadi, we heard from them in the interviews. Igor Radovanovic in the second Red Bull would come home in seventh, with Justin Schaefer in the second of the Aston Martin Mercedes in eighth. Ion Bercy, who we were just speaking to in the Haas, in ninth, with Gerald Bullion. I'm getting it all wrong tonight. In 10th. 11th for Goran Radosevich. In the Williams, Max Slammer in 12th, and then we go down to those who unfortunately did not finish, with Abir Ahmed, Vedrikus, Vedorantic, and Husanovic, and Zaja was the first, I believe, to unfortunately not finish. Over to the championships then, and Zen Mesnic leads the way once again on 51 points, with Yannick Kwerts now promoted to second position. Kaiser Soze in third, with the Alpine of Gasper Medved in fourth. Igor Radovanovic in second Red Bull, a meagre fifth compared to his teammate, with Amir Mohammadi in the Alfa Romeo in sixth, the rest of the drivers. You can see there, as for the team standings, Red Bull lead the way with 70 points, as was discussed in the interviews, the Alfa Romeo team currently in a tight fight with Aston Martin over that second position, with Alpine slowly getting their act together and bringing up the rear. The rest of the drivers struggling to get off the ground, but the fight at the head of the field is between second. The Red Bull cars look very, very strong. Can anybody take it to them down under? We'll find out next week. Have a very good evening, and always remember, be excellent to each other. Very good evening to you all. Good night.